Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Messaging Magic. How to win clients without feeling stressed about telling people about your business and or the number one way to get people to buy from you every time. Today's training is for you if you have ever been to a networking event and when someone asks you, so what do you do? After you tell them, they just shake their heads, they nod and smile, and they say, oh, okay. Do you have a business card? And they politely take your business card and skim over it and excuse themselves from the conversation. And of course, you never hear from them again. That was me. I was the eye roller, the one mumbling, boring under my breath. So if that's you, you're in the right place. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Please let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, and we'll go ahead and get started with the conversation. Welcome to Yamina and Sandy. Yamina, I want to thank you for this opportunity to serve on your platform today and to be a part of the group, hopefully giving some tips, tools, and takeaways that'll help us grow our business. You guys, can you hear me loud and clear? Are you with us? Okay. Hey, Sandy, how are you? Can you hear me? Okay, if you guys can hear me, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to make sure, number one, that we had people on with us, and number two, that you could hear me before I spend some time chatting. Good. Thank you, Sandy. Well, again, hello and welcome to what I like to call messaging magic. It teaches you how to win clients and do so without feeling stressed about telling people about your business. It also gives you tips for how to get people to buy from you every time. We have a few of the clients that have worked for me listening in today and worked with me, listening in today. But again, today's training is for you if you've ever been to a networking event and when someone asks you, so what do you do? After you tell them, they just shake their head, they nod, they smile, they say, oh, okay, do you have a business card? And then they politely take your card and they skim over it and then they excuse themselves from the conversation. And of course, you never hear from them again. So I have a confession. That was me. I was the eye roller. I was the one mumbling boring under my breath. And if you've ever wondered why, when you put yourself out there about what you do in your business and what you have going on in your business, or you send out emails to your potential clients and potentially family and friends, you don't get any feedback. You don't get any sales. You don't get anything in return. If you can relate to this even a little bit, then you know what I'm talking about. So Russell Brunson says that in order to that you have to tell a great story to get prospects to buy from you. So if you've ever been concerned with adding interesting stories that compel people to buy from you, then you also know what it's like to have tried to tell your story, maybe sometime in the past, about what you do in your business, and you didn't get the response or the sales or support that you wanted. Well, think about this. Every day, people all over the world sell you their products and services, and you buy. Why can't you sell the same way? You can. And I'm going to show you how. So if you want to learn how to win clients without feeling stressed out or overwhelmed about marketing your business, then again, you are in the right place. Even if you're new to business, or I see we have some veteran entrepreneurs live with us. If you're a veteran entrepreneur, you're also in the right place. If you're a new business owner, you might be hearing this for the first time, but veterans, you'll get to spruce up your message. So there's this little known thing called messaging magic. Hardly anybody is talking about it, but when you learn it and you use it, then you'll see a huge difference in how fast people buy from or sign up to work with you. And it can make all the difference between your success and or your failure in your business. So if you've ever thought some companies are telling you exactly what you want to hear to get you to buy, you're probably right. The difference between selling and marketing your product is magic. So that's what we're here for today. I know you want to increase your impact, your influence, and your income in your business, and I want to show you how to make that happen during today's training. Before we wrap up, I'll also let you know how to make it even better for you and take it even further to get more out of this. Now, I created Messaging Magic because I am tired of hearing people try to explain what they do, but not why they do what they do, and then the impact that it has on changing lives. And they also leave out the experience and the results of doing business with them. And they forget to answer the question why anybody other than them should even care about what they do. So let's discuss this for a moment. Whether you're just introducing yourself to one person at a networking event or a few hundred people as you're speaking on a stage, it's necessary for you to learn how to tell your story and then be able to relate it to why you do what you do in your business. And so my goal for today's training is, number one, the only way for you to get more people to buy from you, to support you, to want to learn more about what you do and tell others about you is through your messaging. The second thing that's my goal for this training is to let you know that the only way to effectively share your story and see the type of results is through Messaging Magic. You have to use Messaging Magic. So I am Andrieka J. Austin. I go by AJ for short. I am a business coach. I specialize in Messaging Magic, where I help women entrepreneurs convert conversations to clients' cash checks and credit cards. I help you help others fall in love with what you do through the power of your story about why you do what you do in your business. See, I was conceived when my mother was 19 years old, and she had to have surgery in order to have me. So she prayed for a little girl, and she got me. I was literally the answer to someone's prayer. Hey, you listening right now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the ladies that are with me right now. Someone somewhere is praying for you right now. Think about it. Out of all of the millions of others who could have been here, even during conception, you won. Hashtag chosen. Hashtag the one. Hashtag there will never be another me. Hashtag meant to be here. I grew up in low-income housing and on government assistance, and I am the only one of 3 of my mother's children to graduate high school. I'm the only one of 28 grandchildren to attend college on a full scholarship and successfully graduate. I've always had a way with words, hence the full ride scholarship to university, where I received over $100,000 awarded just for telling my story in essay form. I like to say I got paid to go to school. So I was married at 23. I started my first business at 25, and I became a homeowner with rental property at 28. So even during that success, it still took me 15 years to totally complete college, but I did it. Mercer University, class of 2016, with a degree in training and development. 11 years ago, I had 2 corporate jobs downsized. I became homeless, living in my car, and sleeping on the floors and couches of family and friends. 9 years ago, as I'm leaving divorce court, yep, you heard that right, I was walking down the hall to get on the elevator to leave. I pushed the down button, and as the doors begin to close and I see my now ex-husband for the last time, my phone rings. It's my cousin telling me that my mom had just passed away. She was 47 years old. I went back home to handle her affairs, and to make a really long story short, I ended up relocating just outside of where I grew up. The death, the divorce, the downsize, the dropout, and a previous life that was dissolving was all a business building blessing in disguise. I was tired of being let go from jobs, from relationships, from things I felt like I did not have any control over. I no longer wanted anyone to make those decisions for me, like whether I got paid or not, or how much money I made, or how many hours I worked ever again. Plus, when it was dark going in and dark getting off, and I realized I barely had enough time to live my life, I knew it was time for a change. So during this time, I decided to pursue being a full-time entrepreneur. I was able to sit with myself and my thoughts and all that I had gone through, my story, growing deeper and stronger in my relationship with God, and reconnect it to my purpose, which is serving the world through teaching. I had a few years of business owning experience from a previous life. I added what I knew along with information I uncovered while researching my new endeavor, and that showed me that 70% of women small business owners make less than $25,000 a year. Did you know that? I didn't. So I spent some time networking and connecting with women in business, and then I started to understand why they're not making a lot of money. It was because of what they were saying, but more importantly, it was what they were leaving out or not saying about what they do in their business and why they do what they do in their business. Needless to say, they did not have messaging magic. Now, I have to say at one point, that used to be me too. I was the one that didn't really know what to say when people asked me what I do. I used to be at a point in my business where I didn't even want to share my magic, aka my story, about why I was so passionate about what I do as a coach for women entrepreneurs. I thought it was boring. It didn't matter. The details were unimportant. It wouldn't make a difference. I was even a little embarrassed about some of the things. But after meeting with a coach and being persuaded to tell my story, I mean, she literally sold me on my own story. She sold my story back to me and convinced me on why I had to tell it. She said, AJ, you gotta tell your story. So I did. I started with a book. Now I'm on book number 8. It's called The Boss of Me, The Woman Entrepreneur's Guide to Building Her Wealth and Her Worth in Business. And now my story, my message is heard worldwide each day by entrepreneurs who need to hear it the most. I realized I had to let my light shine, and by doing so, I would also give others permission to do the same. So that's when I took a course from a coach I admired, and I fell in love with messaging. So much so that I continued to study stories and storytelling, aka story selling. Then I brought all my notes together and I started helping my clients not just build their businesses, but start making money by telling their story, the story behind the business and why they were so passionate about what they do. One day, one of my clients, Renee, she said, AJ, it's like you do messaging magic. And that's when I finally realized the secret to making more money in business is through messaging magic. So my eyes lit up and I was smiling from the inside out, and I proudly said, I like that. She and I both agreed that that's what I would call what I do for women entrepreneurs, messaging magic. So the plan was to start creating messaging magic for women small business owners that I coached, and to write and travel and share my message with even more people. Every time I share my story, people are captivated, but not enough people understand how to put stories in their marketing message to make them work like a team of new employees for their business. It's a complicated process, it seems like, but it's really not. I know this because I ended up getting so frustrated that I decided to create a signature system to make it really easy for business owners to share their stories. The project name was, of course, you guessed it, Messaging Magic. My thoughts were to create something that would make it possible for business owners to share what they do and why they are so passionate about it in a way that makes people who hear them also fall in love with what they do. So after several months of sprinkling a little magic on the message, I have a platform to help serve out this purpose. In fact, over the last 4 years, hundreds of entrepreneurs have experienced messaging magic, I'm proud to say. After creating messaging magic, I am able to bring in more of the right clients for my own business and help women entrepreneurs like you around the world do the same thing for their business. Now, you guys might not speak to as many people as I do on a day-to-day basis, but messaging magic makes things so much easier for you when you do. Traditionally, when you're asked about what you do, your response is usually your title, maybe your business name. You may even start getting into parts of your bio, which is, go back to the beginning of the story, boring. This can be confusing to the listener and hard to try to remember by you and by them. It's often filled with buzzwords and often understood by those in your industry, not theirs. And most of the time, it confuses or doesn't register with the person you're talking to. This just makes it highly unlikely that they could or would ever be able to go back and tell or repeat what you just said to others and send you good business referrals, or send business referrals your way. So when you tell your bio, your title, your tagline, you don't have control over what other people will say about you because you've given them TMI, or as my aunt used to say, too much information. Stories make your business growth easier because you're sharing with potential buyers exactly why they're buying into what you do and why. And this helps when they make a purchase or decide to do work with you, and they tell others via testimonials and referrals about why they too should do business with you. And this is a repeatable process to keep the cycle of client and customer interest and inquiries on repeat. So this first worked for me during an event. I went to an event that was here in Atlanta for 100 women in business, where I had about 3 minutes to speak about who I was and what I do. And it wasn't that I had 3 minutes. I took 3 minutes. I wanted longer than 30 seconds. I was like, you guys are going to know about me before I leave here. And that's how bold you have to be with your story. The same story that I shared at the beginning is what I shared in 3 minutes with a crowd of people. So at the end of that event, I had about half of the room. I told you this was for 100 women in business. So at least half of the room, they were lined up, giving me their business cards, getting on my calendar, and wanting to chat more so that I could help them put a little magic in their message too. Now, you guys know I charge for that, right? But not only has it worked for me, it worked for Melissa. Now, Melissa, there's a Facebook testimonial on my page. If we're connected on Facebook, you may have seen her post. It was the day of the event for the 100 women. I met Melissa at the event that day, and she gave me her card. She told me what she did, but then I sprinkled a little messaging magic on her, and I gave her a few pointers on her, quote, elevator spiel and introduction. And then she, right away, during her 30 seconds, because see, she obeyed the rules. She wasn't a rule breaker like me. So she took her 30 seconds. She introduced herself. She said what I told her to say. And then she instantly seen immediate results as to the response of the people in the room who wanted to know what she did in her business because it sounded so good. So she instantly applied the information and seen immediate results. And then after the event, as I mentioned, she posted a testimonial on my Facebook page that said, I was at this event today and I had an amazing time. If you need that elevator pitch, contact AJ. She is amazing. M. Jacobs. So thank you to Melissa for giving me a shout out on Facebook and seeing instant results. But she took a moment to listen and to apply what I shared with her. So I was very grateful to see not only was messaging magic starting to work for me, but it worked for someone on the spot with instant results. And then, as I mentioned, I had the line of ladies. I went home with, I don't know how many numbers, how many cards, how many email addresses of people, again, wanting to get on my calendar and work with me. So what I want to do at this point is encourage you guys who are here with us live on Facebook. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them. I'm happy to pause and answer questions. I'm also happy to wait to the end to answer questions, but I'm going to keep going because I have 3 secrets that I want to share with you that will help you make more money in your business every time you share your story. And it goes back to the title of this Facebook Live today, the number 1 way to get people to buy from you every time. But it's also the number 1 way that you can go out of business if you don't use the tips that I share. So secret number 1 is I'm going to tell you how to tell your story so well that potential clients will want to know more about you and your business every time. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to help you put your business out there without putting your business out there. Let me say that again. Secret number 2 is how to put your business out there without putting your business out there. And then finally, secret number 3 is how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales. So if you guys want to hear those secrets, for those listening live, I would love to see some emojis, some thumbs up, some hearts, some yeses as we continue today's training. Let me know you're live, you're listening, you're here. These tips and tools are helping you. They're coming through loud and clear, and you think it's something that you can apply to your business. All right, let's get into secret number 1. How to tell your story so well that potential clients want to know more about you and your business every time. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I was awarded for economic empowerment by a nonprofit organization, And just minutes before I went up to accept the award, I was encouraged to say a few words, and I freaked out. I didn't have anything prepared. I had no idea that I would be speaking. I thought I would just get cute, walk up to the front, get my award, and go back to my seat and keep eating my dinner. But that was not the case. Thank God the photographer and I had a chat before I went up, and he said, hey, you know, you're expected to give a little speech. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I gathered my thoughts, and I found a quiet place to go and to think. I needed a quiet place and a space to think and to write something up really quickly. And I remembered my story and what I had learned to share. And then I wanted to share it quickly and succinctly, because we don't like long, drawn out tales of what people are doing in their business, what's going on in their life. But anyway, when I went up to receive the award, I gave my speech using what I had rehearsed to share my story and my message effectively. And then after the event, I was approached by two well-known local leaders who I didn't even know were in the room. And I received an invitation to come and speak and share my message at two other events, because they now knew what I did. They'd heard me share my story, and they knew others who needed to hear my message too. So I wanted to let you guys know that, because if you are like I was in the beginning of my business, you may also feel like you have a story that won't be interesting enough to compel someone to buy. You may feel like, oh, is it really that important? I don't know. But as I mentioned in the beginning, it took another coach telling me. Not only that, later on, I was sharing lunch with a friend, and this friend was writing a book. And so she was planning on having her pre-launch book signing with a speaking engagement that she had coming up. So while we were talking, we were discussing her plans for the new book. She needed help with the promotional language for the back cover of her book. Now, in one part of her story, she spent 3 years in prison. Yep, you heard that right. She spent 3 years in prison. So with the help of a little messaging magic, we changed that part of the story from just simply, oh, I spent 3 years in prison, to I spent 1,095 days wearing the same unflattering puke-colored jumpsuit with thick socks and flip-flops. Doesn't that sound a little bit more intriguing and make you want to know more? Oh, by the way, she was pregnant while she was in jail as well and had to deliver her baby there. So we go on to tell her story, sprinkle messaging magic, and it's a lot more intriguing and interesting than, oh, I spent 3 years in prison. It really helps you get into the details of your story, and she later used that same line during her live pre-lunch speaking engagement, and she sold out of every book she had there. She gained several new clients, and that all came from the power in her story from her book that made her several $100s on site at the event from a 30-minute talk, simply telling her story. So imagine what changing just one line in your messaging using my messaging magic formula could do for you. Now meet Detrice. Detrice, I really, really like her. I love her spirit. She didn't know who needed to hear her story. She experienced messaging magic, and she got clear on exactly who her message was for. And now she's positioned to double her revenue over the next 12 months. She too has a Facebook testimonial just like Melissa did. And on my Facebook wall, she said, I have a greater understanding for what I do. That was what I needed. No one before was ever able to help me. Thank you, AJ. Detrice. So if you see, like Detrice, when you tell your story, when you sprinkle messaging magic on it, it makes a bigger difference in understanding who needs to hear what you do, when you share what you do. And then when you share, they want to know more every time and potentially become your clients. Again, it goes back to the title. This is your number one way to get people to buy from you every time. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, I've already tried something like this and I don't know because it didn't work and I was out of tons of money and I invested a lot of time and I was frustrated and I felt all alone. Well, listen, anybody can teach you how to tell a story, but only messaging magic helps you get more people to buy from you, support you, learn more about what you do, and refer others. This is your ticket to how to stop blending in and start standing out in your industry in an authentic way. Messaging magic is your key for how to stop begging people to buy and still make more money through a little known trick that almost instantly puts your marketing on cruise control without you feeling overwhelmed or like you didn't want to bother or annoy anyone with what you do or what you have going on in your business. So messaging magic is kind of like having your own little personal army of fairies flying around with their magical wands, sprinkling golden magic dust on every word you say when you tell people about your business that instantly makes people want to buy from you, support you, and tell others about how great you are and how powerful your message is. Now that I've shown you how to tell your story so well that potential clients will want to know more, isn't that awesome? Hopefully you guys are getting some tips that'll help you take away the tools to get more people to buy from you as well. Now let's get into secret number 2. Now let me tell you a quick story. Meet Tiffany. Tiffany didn't know how to describe her work and her style as a coach. She needed help speaking to her market and an audience of who she served, which was those feeling broken and lost and stuck and victimized in their lives. And so she got a taste of messaging magic, and we found her story, which was she and her sister grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment where they learned about life as a lady from her mom during their childhood. And later on, they passed these things down to their younger sister and a group of her preteen aged friends via these things she called weekly powwows, where she gave them the freedom to talk and vent and ask questions. So this small group then grew to a group of 30 girls being mentored in this small 2-bedroom apartment. And 12 years later, Tiffany and her sister now serve as teen life coaches with a full service outreach ministry that goes beyond the 4 walls. So if you can see, I helped Tiffany tell her story without putting her business out there. Notice how she still hit on the details, but not giving the dirty details. So if you're like Tiffany was and you don't want to offend anyone or step on anyone's toes or put anybody's business out there, especially yours, in an effort to try to convince people to buy from you, then that's how you know this secret has been uncovered for you, and messaging magic is what you need. Meet Tracy. Tracy was a passionate nonprofit story startup coach. And she contacted me on my birthday of all days. And I like to say she was my birthday gift. But she became a client that same day because she had experienced my story using messaging magic. So she and I went on to work together and to help her find her story because she didn't believe or even know that she had one. So after using messaging magic, she was nearly in tears saying, AJ, I don't even think or know that I ever knew I had a story. She soon revamped her business and her brand messaging, and now she shares her message via her story on global platforms, and she can be heard around the world. So hopefully you see yourself in the story of Detrice, of Tracy, of Tiffany, of even my story from the beginning. But you've probably been told before that you need to share your story before. Maybe you've heard that, like, oh, you should really tell people more about your story. But you get to a place where I hear a lot of women are. They say, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to talk about that yet, and it's feeling a bit overwhelming. Let me tell you about LaShandra. Now, LaShandra is one of my favorite clients, and any of my other clients listening, you guys know you're my favorite too. So LaShandra was a client who had experienced personal trauma in her life from childhood, and she wrote a book about it. And once she wrote that book and she came to me for help on how to share her message effectively, she wanted to sprinkle a little magic on it. So after her experience with messaging magic, she was offered the opportunity to be flown out and trained with a well-known nonprofit organization who wanted her to share her message and her story as a trainer in their trauma and abuse division of their organization on an ongoing basis. How amazing is that? Kudos to LaShandra for all of her hard work and for getting into the details of sharing her story, even though her story has life trauma all in it. Now that I've shown you how to put your business out there without putting your business out there, isn't that awesome? That's secret number 2 to how to get people to buy from you every time. And finally, let's get into secret number 3, how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales. If you guys are ready for that, then you're in for a treat, and thank you for hanging in there with me today. So if you're not sure if or how much adding stories or sprinkling magic on your message will increase your sales, Meet Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Sandy's a virtual assistant who was looking to share her message offline. She went through Messaging Magic and she shared her story at a conference and ended up enrolling people for her services, whom she never expected would consider buying from her, all because they were so intrigued with her delivery, her message, and her story. That's the power of Messaging Magic. You're probably thinking, I've tried to tell my story before. It didn't work, so I'm going to wait. I don't want to make any quick decisions. I've witnessed people all trying to tell their stories too. Well, guess what? I've witnessed people who have tried to share their message and tell their story, and it was so obvious they had no guidance. Now, you can take the information I just shared and try this yourself, but trust me, you need some messaging magic. I hate when I hear people try to tell their stories and you can tell that they didn't have that guidance because there was no magic in their message. I've also heard people who were not only in a place where they attempted to share their message with no guidance, they even tried to do what they seen or heard other people do. And they tried to wing it, and they turned into a massive failure on their part. And it just made them sound really bad in front of a room full of people. Now, with Messaging Magic, you're not only learning how to share your message and tell your story, you're receiving first-hand knowledge from a 20-year speaker turned messaging magician. That's me. And a team of clients who would go to bat for and prove it works when you work it right and when you put it all out there, because it's unlike anything else out there today. Now that I've shown you how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase sales, wasn't that awesome? I thought so. I hope you do too. Now, do you think this would work for you and your business? So let me ask a question. If you're still hanging in there with me, if you followed what I showed you in Secret 1 and you are now in a place to share your story so well that potential clients will want to know more, then you did what I showed you in Secret 2 and use Messaging Magic to put your business out there without putting your business out there. And then you use Secret 3 to share your right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales in your business. Do you think you would be successful? If so, these live people hanging in there with me, let me get some thumbs up, some hearts, some yeses, some head nods, some number ones in the comments, and let me know. Then I want to know how many of you are excited about what we just talked about. As you can tell, I am. So hopefully this messaging magic is coming over to you in the form of a good energy. I also know a lot of you may be feeling a little overwhelmed because we've covered so much. And of course, it's impossible for me to show you everything you need to get results in only this short amount of time we have together today. But I did try to cover as much as possible. I also created a special package for those who are ready to move forward and want to implement this new information. It's not okay to just take it in and hoard it, but you got to put it into action to see it work for you and to practice those 3 secrets we just went over in today's presentation during our time together. So if it's okay, I'd like to spend about 2 minutes going over a very special offer that I created to help you implement Messaging Magic. Is that okay? If it's okay, let me get a yes, let me get a 1, let me get some hearts, some thumbs up for those live people listening. And for those of you who are listening to the replay of this information, let me see some virtual head nods. And if not, I want you to know it's totally fine if you guys don't want to know this stuff. I already know it, but it isn't about me. This is for you. And if it's okay, I'd like to go ahead and cover the next 2 minutes where I show you how you can change your life. So, if so, let me give you some magic. All right, I see those thumbs up. Thank you so much. So, what you're going to get is a 4-step Messaging Magic Masterclass. This is when you invest right now. You can get instant access to my masterclass, which features the 4 key components that sprinkles messaging magic on your message, on your message. There are 15 magical messaging questions every entrepreneur should know and answer about their business, but most don't because they don't know to do it. Then there's an outline that drafts your business story. It helps you to get it all laid out. There are 3 ways to connect with anyone you're sharing your message with every time. And then there are two key links that are missing in your story to answer the question, so what do you do every single time? There's a 5-step signature system of story selling success that goes into this masterclass, as well as one thing my client just discovered today, a 6-part secret to sharing a short, sweet, succinct story, like you guys heard me do in the beginning of our talk together. I also give you tips for how to share your story effectively for sales on social media, how to keep your listeners engaged with you, like you guys have been engaged with me in this entire time. I teach you how to do that and keep your listeners engaged the entire time as well. I share the trick to help you leave a legacy with your words, how to share your story of struggle to success. And then I feature a bonus called When Oprah Calls. This helps you get Oprah ready. So when you use Messaging Magic to find your next book title, blog topic, social media post, you know you're onto something, you're making money, you're getting new clients. That's exactly the results I want to help you get. I want to see you work that messaging magic. And then it teaches you how to make money. Say money, honey, from from your message. So I mentioned connecting. And so speaking of connecting and learning more, I promised you at the beginning of this talk to show you how you can take this information even further, dive much deeper into delving and mastering your message that's just right for you and your business. So imagine knowing how to tell and sell your story while leaving a legacy with your words by having the blueprint, aka the pink print, since we're lady entrepreneurs. This is for sharing your marketing message because you know what to say and what to leave out after you go through Messaging Magic. So if you desire to become the, not just a, but the go-to person in your industry, the Messaging Magic Masterclass shares top tips on what to say when you're selling you and how to make sure you're sharing what you do with the community of clients. Remember, I said I have a team of clients that would go to bat for me. You want to create a community of clients of the right people who need to hear what you have to say. And all of this builds on the foundation of running a profitable business and creating a system of success. It doesn't work one time, it works every time because it's a system of success. This increases your impact, your influence, and your income. Right now, if you are listening to this, you can go to www.thebossof.me/magic. Again, that's www.thebossof.me, no backslash, just thebossof.me to get signed up for the course. The masterclass begins this week. Get enrolled now. So now again, this course is for people who are tired of attempting to explain what they do. And they always leave out the why they do what they do in their business. And they never mention the experience or the results their customers and clients get from working with them or hiring them to do business together. This is your own step-by-step guide for how you can develop and master your own message, master your own story, master the money that you're making in your business. And again, all of this builds on the foundation of running that profitable business because it's a system of success. It increases your impact, influence, and income. And I want you to choose to sign up today to take this course. Take this course and finally master your message because there is someone somewhere waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk into theirs. So here's what we're going to talk about in the Messaging Magic Masterclass. I'm getting tongue-tied. But we're going to talk about your struggle to success story, like I shared mine at the very beginning. We're going to go over your solution strategy. We're going to dive into selling your solution strategy using your story. And finally, we're going to wrap it all up with your success strategy for systematic sales. You must persuade people to believe in what you are doing. And you can only do that by mastering the art of storytelling. That's a quote from Russell Brunson. Using Messaging Magic and the skills you've just learned during today's chat will help get people to listen and to make faster decisions to do business with you. Remember, you are only one conversation away from that ideal client, that $1 million project or contract. These secrets that I share in Messaging Magic Masterclass will build on the platform where you create buyers. So if you tell your story of struggle and solutions, then people will be sold on your success. Not just yours, but theirs too. using messaging magic. They'll buy from and support you and tell others about what you do every single time via referrals and testimonials. Listen, if you don't tell your story, less people will know about you. They will not be able to buy from you. Now, I'm glad that you took time to spend with me today, but I wanted to make sure that you understood who today's information works for and who Messaging Magic, the masterclass, is going to work for. I want you to go back and listen to this. And I also want to make sure you realize that this is only for new and veteran business owners who want to stop begging people to buy from them. You're ready to stop begging, you want to make more money, and you want to learn how to win clients without feeling stressed out or overwhelmed about marketing your business, because you know this little secret trick called messaging magic. So if you're trying to get more clients, you're trying to get more customers where people buy from you, support you, learn more about what you do, and refer others to you, if you want to stop blending in and start standing out in your industry in an authentic way that confidently converts conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards, messaging magic works. So you might be thinking you can't get started with this because, I got to be in control of my story or what I share. Remember, I said the same thing. I wanted to share my story as long as I didn't cry or as long as I didn't get up in front of people and let it all loose. But now I'm thinking about those pearly gates. What do I mean? When I die and get to heaven, I don't want God to be like, AJ, why didn't you share the part of the story that somebody sitting in the audience needed to hear to sign up to work with you, to change their life, their business, and the life of their clients and their family for legacies and generations to come. So here's why that is a mistake that will hold you back from success. You know God has called you to do what you do in your business. You know you have a big mission and a great vision for your business. You want to get out there in a bigger way, but you're just not sure how. But you don't know if you're ready to share that part of your story. Listen, I encourage you to take you out of it. Think about the person, the young girl who is where you were. Feel those feelings again. Speak to her. Show up for her. You know you want to share your story, but you might feel like you're stuck. You're not stuck. You just reached a part of your story you may not be ready to think about or talk about yet. And you just need a guide on how to tell your story, what to include, and what's okay to leave out. Again, take yourself out of it. Think about who you're serving and why you show up in your business. Who needs to hear your story today? So when you sign up today, you're going to get access to my 6-week masterclass called, of course, Messaging Magic. It's a total value of $2,997. As a part of this package, you're going to get the Messaging Magic Money Map, which is a $197 value. It's a tool to help you map out your money message step by step. You'll be able to get rid of, when you have this tool, you'll be able to choose from the 7 places to start your story anytime you share your story. Tie in with your professional proficiencies, and then you'll be able to navigate through your powerful personal story with ease. You want to be able to share the 4 components to your super sexy signature story. Say that 3 times fast. But you'll always be able to refer back to your Messaging Magic formula, and this will help keep you on track when you're sharing your story. You'll get to share your magical money message, the business benefits, along with your proof and qualifiers every time someone asks you, so what do you do? When you have this tool, you'll be able to get rid of the overwhelm of what to share and what to leave out of your magical message as it relates to you doing more and making more money in your business. You'll get rid of the frustration of what parts of your story to share and when as you're talking with others about you and what you do in your business. You'll save yourself the time of having to remember all that you've done to get to where you are in your business and why or how to share this in your list of accomplishments, but you'll still get to be effective. And most importantly, you'll take away the worry of how should I share this? How can I make this make sense? That question that's always in your mind before you share with others about who you are and what you do in your business. When I first was figuring this stuff out, I ran into a big roadblock. I didn't know how to share my story, so I had to create a messaging magic money map for myself. So way back then, I had to spend lots of hours and dollars weeding through information and trying to figure out an efficient way to handle this problem. But I didn't want you to have to recreate the wheel, and I've already gotten proven results, as you've heard earlier, and I'm just going to give it to you with this package. Does that sound cool? I'm going to give you the messaging magic money map that I created for myself. But I had to invest years of my time and spend tons of money to overcome the big roadblock that the messaging magic money map helped me through. I spent the last 2 years developing an easier way to help you make more money from your message. But the good news is that you don't have to spend that many years, because I'm just going to include the messaging magic money map. So when you use this tool, not only will you be able to save time and money that I spent to develop it, but you'll also save what could be months or years of wasted time and money, because you'll be doing it right the first time. There's no trial and error, period. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, AJ, you make it sound so easy. Well, that's because it is, especially when you have someone who has figured it out and put together all the missing pieces for you. It's a lot easier than trying to piece your story together all by yourself. So not only are you getting Messaging Magic, the masterclass, which is a $1,497 value. Now, I mentioned $29.97 earlier because that's the price that everything is valued at. But of course, I'm not going to make you pay that much. So you're getting Messaging Magic Masterclass, a $1,497 value. You're getting the Messaging Magic Money Map, which is a $297 value, now all valued at $694. But that's not it. Wait for it. I mentioned when you invest today, you're going to get the masterclass. You're going to get the money map. But when you invest today, you're also going to get the marketing messaging magic that you need for any marketing you do, which will help you with the 6-step secret to promoting the work you do in your business. You'll also think about how to share those secrets. Anytime you share what you do, share your story, share your message, and sell a product. Now, if you're not sure of how much adding stories or sprinkling magic on your message will increase or lead to more sales, this is that tool that will show you how. I shared about several of my clients, but I also had a client who had a summer program that prepared kids to get ahead in their learning for the upcoming school year. So they would be entering a new grade in the fall, but this program prepped them to reach a collegiate level much easier than most kids would. So I was hired to help them add value to their message that they were putting out there in hopes of growing their own program enrollment numbers. But with the help of Messaging Magic, which ultimately led to the why in the what do you do question, we were able to share the heart core message and vision of the program's founder and sell the program by sharing the stories of each of the kids' journey, specifically those returning from the year before. So this helped the parents, especially those with other school-aged kids who could benefit from the program, to see the value the program brought to the lives and the studies of their children by seeing the pictures of them and the reminders of their growth from the year before. So sales went up, so did tuition, and it also resulted in more enrollment, reaching capacity and requiring additional space and staff to help manage the program's success. But that's not all. Thanks to Messaging Magic, they now had a formula to follow to help guarantee success years after they implemented what I shared with them. Can you say hashtag rinse and repeat? Hashtag automatic, systematic? So I had to go through hours of reading and learning, but you won't have to, because I spent the time piecemealing information together to get a great, well-crafted storyline of who should be investing in my business, but also produced information that'll help you with your products and your services. So again, you won't have to go through everything I did, because I'm giving you the marketing messaging magic as a special bonus. And this bonus is going to make it faster and easier for you to capture the attention of those who need to hear about who you are and what you do in your business, and how to make them buy, How, you may ask? Because it'll help you show people how to decide to move forward with you and doing business with you. So you're probably thinking, I already know what to say to get people to do business with me, AJ. Not like this. Imagine using what you do plus the magic of a repeatable, systematic formula that aligns you with your story, aka messaging that could potentially increase your chances of getting to a yes from a potential customer or client every time. So you get Messaging Magic, the masterclass, which is a $14.97 value. You get Messaging Magic, the money map, which is a $297 value. And you get Marketing Message Magic, which is a $197 value. So we are at $797. But of course, you don't have to spend that much. I wanted to let you know that there are things that can continue to help you build your business. So I mentioned everything that comes in Messaging Magic, but I have 3 more bonuses to share with you. When you invest today, you're going to be sure that you're sharing the right message with potential buyers that help you increase your sales, because you're also going to get access to the email messaging magic masterclass, which will help you write emails to get people to buy. Now, I had to go through the trial and error and tons of unsubscribes and witnessing what was called email jail to get the email effect with the right people on my list and getting them to sign up. Those who were quality leads requested my emails. They opened my emails. They engaged with me. They bought my products. They still buy my products and programs, and they sign up for services eagerly while awaiting my emails. They're interested in my topic. They're interested in my expert insight, and they encourage me to keep emailing, and not only keep emailing, but to keep emailing them. And they wouldn't think of unsubscribing. So this bonus is going to make it faster and easier for you to sell through email. How? Because it will help you show how to get people to learn more about you, buy from you, support you by telling others about what you do in your business. Plus, it will help you stand out in your industry and in your own authentic way. Now, you're probably thinking, AJ, I've never sold. I've never been good at selling. I've never sold through email. Well, there's no worries, because the email marketing class walks you through how to write hot headlines that gets people to open your emails, write content that makes people buy, and it walks you through how to say what they want to hear. It points you in the right direction for how to offer your products and services in your emails and what to say in your emails. That all should be included in every email before you click the send button to past, present, and potential purchasers of your products or services, along with successful examples of how to make this email messaging magic work for you and your business, and how to repeat this success strategy to get great results every time. So you get Messaging Magic, the masterclass, a $14.97 value. You get Messaging Magic, the money map, a $297 value. You get Marketing Messaging Magic, a $197 value. And you get the Email Messaging Magic class, which is a $597 value, giving us a total grand value of $1,188. But wait, I know you might be thinking, okay, how can I not offend anybody, not step on toes, not put anybody else's business out there by trying to convince people to buy or sign up for me to work with me? I don't want anybody to get mad at me. So how do I put my business out there, my client's business out there, without putting our business out there? When you invest today, you're also going to get access to the Messaging Magic, the Think Tank. The Think Tank is so cool. It's such a cool tool because it helps you with thinking through your story while focusing on the results, the testimonials, and the raving reviews, because people would only want to hear the stories behind the business brand and what makes you so passionate. That's something worth getting help thinking through. So I had to weed through and piece together ways to create the stories of my work that brought me the most results. and showed me the greatest experience of my clients to get those stories of testimonials that I could share like I did during today's training to prove my results. But you won't have to do this, again, because I'm giving you the Messaging Magic Story Think Tank as a special bonus. Now, this bonus is going to make it faster and easier for you to pull from your own collection of positive, personal, and client-based results-driven stories that positively promote your product and easily convey your magical marketing message every time you share. How? Because it walks you through how to craft only the best stories from your clients, combined with your favorite reasons behind who you are and why you are so passionate about what you do and the people you do it for in your business. So you're probably thinking, AJ, I don't have as many client stories or testimonials as I would like. And it's okay. After going through the Messaging Magic Story Think Tank, you'll have 16 different ways to create magic in your message, starting with you as your best and first testimonial of your work. And now you're setting the trend and helping others follow suit. So here's what you get. The Messaging Magic Masterclass, a $1,497 value. The Messaging Magic Money Map, a $297 value. The Marketing Messaging Magic, a $197 value. The Email Messaging Magic Class, a $597 value. And Messaging Magic Story Think Tank, a $397 value, giving us the new total of $2,885 worth of goodies. Now, the first 5 people to sign up today get entered to win an Ask AJ Anything group video session with me about how to use your story to instantly increase your impact, your influence, and your income. So one more time, let me tell you what you get. The Messaging Magic Masterclass, $1,497 value. The Messaging Magic Money Map, a $297 value. The Marketing Messaging Magic, a $197 value. And the Email Messaging Magic Class, a $597 value, along with the 2 bonuses of Messaging Magic, the Story Think Tank, a $397 value, and the Ask AJ Anything video group session, which is priceless, giving us, again, a total of $2,885. Now, obviously, I am not going to charge you $2,885, but if I did charge you $2,885 and all you did was get the information that I shared and be able to tell how to tell your story so well that potential clients want to know more about you every time and know about your business every time, would it be worth it to you? And if all I did was teach you how to put your business out there without putting your business out there, would it be worth $2,885? And what if all I did was show you how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase your impact, your influence, and your income, which equals your sales? Do you think it would be worth $2,885? Well, I had 2 choices with this. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, but the problem with that is I couldn't really stack on the value for you. So I decided to go with the second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, we can dedicate more time, more energy, and resources to help guarantee your success. So if you had a super sexy sales story today that was making you money today, would it be worth it to you? How much would you pay to have that one super sexy sales story with messaging magic sprinkled on it? Now, you could probably see why people pay $2,885 for a similar result from me, because it's not just a cost, it's the investment. Now, I know you hear that a lot, but it is truly an investment. So you've already seen how it's worth $2,885. And even at $2,885, which I charge the public, it's a great deal. But because of your connection to this group, I'm going to give you a very special offer of only $297. $297. To get today's price, go to thebossof.me and click the link to get started in the masterclass, which starts this week. It's the Messaging Magic Masterclass, available at www.thebossof.me. Now, I wanted to make sure I had a chance to go back through the comments from our Facebook Live. I want to thank Yamina, Shelly, Dr. Tanya, Sandy, and all of the ladies that are listening live. Those of you who are listening to the replay, I want to thank you because you see the investment of time that you made. But when you invest in the actual masterclass, all of the value that you'll get, the price has been cut from $2,885 to only $297. So now you have nothing to lose. I wanted to make this choice as simple as possible for you to see that this is a no-brainer. So is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Absolutely. Visit www.thebossof.me to get started. Even if it does only half of what I've claimed today, it will pay for itself as soon as you put it to work. Now, one last time, this is a $2,885 value where I am giving you everything I mentioned before, which is the Messaging Magic Masterclass, a $1,497 value, the Messaging Magic Money Map, which is a $297 value, the Marketing Messaging Magic, which is a $197 value, the Email Messaging Masterclass and Messaging Magic Class, which is a $597 value, the Messaging Magic Story Think Tank, which is a $397 value, and then, of course, the Ask AJ Anything group video session, which is priceless. So that's so you know exactly what you're getting. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. If you went through my regular website right now, you could buy this same product for nearly $5,000. But because you've invested this time with me and you've proven that you really want to get this result, I'm making the special $297 offer just for you listening today. Yes, you. If you were to hire a professional to do this for you, it might cost you close to $20,000. But because you're learning how to do it for yourself, and I'm giving you all the tools and resources to make it happen fast, you only pay $297. So you got two choices. At this point, you can choose to do nothing. And if you do nothing with the information you've learned over the last few moments that we've been together, guess what you'll get? Nothing. Or you can choose to take a leap of faith and just test it out to see if it'll work for you. And then you'll know for sure if you have messaging magic or has what it takes to make magic. So I wanted to, again, make this choice as simple as possible. It is a no-brainer. And even if it does half of what I claim, it'll pay for itself as soon as you put it to work. So I'm looking. I don't see any questions. Wanted to give you guys some more time to ask questions. Want to encourage you to visit thebossof.me. And again, the first 5 people who sign up today, while the space lasts, get the free video session with me to ask me anything about your story in a group setting. I wanted to give you that bonus, but only for the first 5 people. So if you leave this presentation, the chances of you coming back may be 0. But if you visit thebossof.me today, you'll get the bonus if you're one of the first 5. And I do not offer all of these. I only want to offer this to the people who are listening right now. All right. So I'm glad that you guys showed up live. I'm glad you're listening to the replay, and replay viewers, if you're listening now and the spots are gone for the 5 video chats, they're gone. So get started now. Thebossof.me. I don't see any questions. I wanted to recap the offer, $2,885 value, letting you know about the masterclass, the email marketing, and everything you get as a result of signing up today. Your next step is to visit thebossof.me for the masterclass, the money map, the marketing, the email masterclass, and the messaging magic, along with the video session. So let's see. I think that's it. I'm looking one last time before we jump off. All right. Well, guys, I just want you to know that this single concept with messaging magic has made me more money than anything I've ever done in my business. So I want you to be able to study it and to master it. There's no greater gift that I could give you than this. And I'll leave you with these words. There's someone somewhere waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk in theirs. Because it's when you let your light shine that you give others permission to do the same. I am Andrieka J. Austin, also known as the Socialprenista, creator of Messaging Magic. I'll see you over at www.thebossof.me. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.